So Johnny Eblen in the main event. It's been a while. It's been a while. He's expressed some frustration with PFL. I mean, rightfully so. Not a lot of matchmaking depth there. They found Costello Van Steenis to be a worthy challenger, and that was enough to get Johnny Eblen back into the smart cage. He's one of the best. They call him Johnny Pressure, and they call him that for a reason. I mean, he brings it, and it's hard to keep up with. We saw Impa Kasanganai do a decent job. He kept up with him. He certainly pushed him. That was a 3-round fight. This is a 5-round fight where Johnny's style works really well. And I would say that's kind of why he's the champion. You know, he gets tired, yes. His style doesn't allow for anything else. I mean, just constantly going, but he never fades, you know. Not 100% anyway. He will grind you down. And I think that's what he's going to do to Costello Van Steenis, our number one contender, who is dangerous. You know, they've got the highlight reel on him, that flashy head kick KO that we saw at, I believe it was the championship last year. That wasn't against Johnny Eblen. In fact, I don't think Costello Van Steenis has ever faced someone like Johnny Eblen. You can point to his win over Fabian Edwards, but that was 5 years ago. And Fabian's improved, like, a lot, okay? I'm looking more at that loss to Douglas Lima, who was 1-5 in his last 6, with the one coming over Van Steenis. And that raises some concerns, I'm not going to lie. Okay, Lima used leg kicks primarily to secure the win there. I don't think that's really going to be a problem with Johnny Eblen. But Eblen's going to bring plenty of problems for Costello Van Steenis, and I think he's going to dominate this one. I just don't see what Costello Van Steenis can bring to the table that's going to catch Eblen off guard. Maybe some of that flashy striking, maybe he lands something sick, I don't know. But I think he'll get the win here. I would say hopefully he patches things up with PFL, but at the same rate, they just don't have the depth for someone like Johnny Eblen. I mean, I think in this same situation, UFC has trouble at the middleweight division, you know? And there's no telling how Johnny Eblen does in the UFC. It'd be interesting to find out. I think that's a better scenario for him than PFL. Right now on the table, we've got a possible trilogy with Fabian Edwards, who he's 2-0 against in impressive enough fashion to where I don't need to see a trilogy fight. And then we do have Dalton Roster rising up the ranks, which maybe that's something. Maybe he beats Fabian Edwards in the finals and people get excited for that. I don't know. You know, he's marketable. I don't know if that's enough to keep Johnny Eblen on the table. We're going to find out. But I think he gets the job done here in Africa. So moving on to the co-main event, a return of another star, a return of one of the best fighters in the world as well. I would say the star of PFL, the face of the brand, Dakota Ditcheva. In the co-main event, this is not a title fight. I know PFL's title situation is very confusing, but this will be a 3-rounder against Sumiko Inaba, 14-0 against 8-1. Pretty good on paper. You know, seeing Dakota Ditcheva compete, you can tell it's more than just a flashy record. There is some of the most devastating striking you have ever seen to go along with it. So that 14-0 record is all finishes with a variety of moves, including body shots, knees. I mean, it's the best striking in women's MMA right now. And she brings pressure with that. She brings kicks. I mean, it's overwhelming to watch. So I can't imagine being toe-to-toe with her. She's really polished. And I just think sky's the limit for her. They need to get her in the cage as much as possible. And I guess it can get a fresh start here in Africa to set up something for the end of the year. Because you need to get her in there 3-4 times a year. I mean, she is so marketable. Absolute must-see television, especially in this day and age of MMA where we don't get a lot of that, right? So I'm excited to see her in the cage, period. In her way is Sumiko Inaba, who always brings a fight. She is scrappy. I'll tell you that right now. I've seen just about all of her fights. She's a threat to most in the division, I would say. But Dakota Ditcheva is not like most, and she hasn't faced anyone with that polish and that pacing. I think Ditcheva is going to be aggressive as always. And one thing that sticks out to me is that one in the record of Anaba. The one loss was to Denise Kielholtz, who was, an incredible kickboxer. And that's the key word, kickboxer. Anaba had no answer for that level of dynamic offense. No kicking game whatsoever. And that's inevitably what led to the loss to Kielholtz. So I think that's going to be even more on display in this fight, especially with the 5-inch reach disadvantage that she will be going through heading into this fight. So it's a terrible fight for her, stylistically speaking. Excellent for Dakota Ditcheva, probably excellent for the fans. I mean, I think she's going to come forward and she's going to bang, but I don't like her chances standing up with Dakota Ditcheva. That is all I will say on that. I'm predicting another one for the highlight reel. Another one for dangerous Dakota Ditcheva. Round 1, maybe round 2. She's a real trooper if she makes it to round 2, in my opinion. AJ McKee, another just top-tier star. Coming back to PFL, I wasn't sure if that would ever happen. But AJ McKee at 22-2. Returning the featherweight. First time since 2022. That was a loss to Patricio Pitbull. He would move up to lightweight. Went on a little winning streak there. Last time we saw him was against Paul Hughes. And honestly, he looked a little slow. Was out of his element. Don't want to take anything away from Paul Hughes. He's one of the best in the world. He's proven that. But it didn't exactly look like the same AJ McKee that we're used to. And maybe that's because of big news Paul Hughes. But McKee can get back on track here. He's going down in weight. I think that'll help with his speed. He's still certainly amongst the elite. I mean, his only decisive loss was that Paul Hughes fight. The Patricio Pitbull fight was certainly polarizing. I think I had Patricio up by a round, but it could have gone either way. And Paul Hughes brought something that AJ McKee had never seen before and had him lost, had him looking really lost. So I think this is a bounce back fight for AJ McKee if he is to stay with PFL at all. But we'll get more into that. In his way is Ahmed Magomedov, 11-1. Decent record. Dagestani wrestler, as you'd imagine, based on the name. And he's solid. He's shown that he can be solid. His only loss was a close fight. It was to Henry Corrales in 2023, I believe. His takedowns are good. I wasn't impressed with his striking in that fight. I don't know if it's improved since then. Corrales had a lot of luck stuffing the takedowns. I don't see why AJ McKee wouldn't have that same luck and have his way on the feet with Magomedov. I'm going to take AJ McKee with a decision here. I think he stuffs those takedowns, uses his volume, has an AJ McKee fight, right? He's going to use his game plan, and it's probably going to work. Not a lot of people have had an answer for it. I think we'll see AJ McKee back to winning ways, back to that smooth, crisp striking that earns some points and earns the victory here in Africa. Now, if he does win, I don't know where he goes from here. I don't know if a UFC contract awaits him. Not sure how many fights he has on this PFL deal. I think there's some good fights for him still. Timur Hizriv won the tournament last year. Hasn't fought since. PFL has a lot of difficulty getting their top guys in the cage at times, but there's a fight right there. Also, the winner of Gabriel Braga and Movlid Khaybulaev. That's a top tier fight too. I'll be into all of those. So we'll see what AJ McKee can do with PFL. It starts here with Ahmed Magomedov. But before that, we will see Artur Zaynukov. Now, I think his real name is Makasharip Zaynukov. He's been going by Artur. That's a little easier. So he's back. We last saw him at Battle of the Giants. He beat Dedrick Sanders. Dedrick's not an easy out. He made it look really easy. Really had no problems at all. Clean takedowns, clean striking. He seems pretty well-rounded, which I can't exactly say about Takeshi Izumi, who does certainly have a resume. He was 1-1 in Ryzen, Greco-Roman wrestling champ. Certainly some credentials. Just beat Spike Carlisle, who's also not an easy out, very gritty. You know, not the elite of elite, but it takes something to grind out a decision over Spike Carlisle, and I think he's going to try to do that against our good friend Artur here. But Zaynukov's too well-rounded. I've got Zaynukov second round KO. And last, this one was kind of weird when I first saw it. Corey Anderson, 18-6. Denis Goltsov, 36-8. Experienced guys, they're meeting a heavyweight. I'll tell you right now, Denis Goltsov is a technical heavyweight, especially for a lot of the guys we're used to seeing. That finish over Oleg Popov, that triangle choke in last year's finals, that got me out of my seat. That was pretty cool. You don't always see a heavyweight triangle finish, but 9 wins in his last 10. Honestly solid everywhere. He's super underrated for the global heavyweight scene, which is pretty damn weak. But that may be why Corey Anderson's jumping to the heavyweight division. The former Bellator light heavyweight champ. I guess he's still the champion, if that were to exist still. But this was a surprise. This will be his heavyweight debut. He's a big guy. You know, he may lose some of that speed, though. May lose some of that wrestling strength. We'll see how competitive he is. You know, I don't think he's giving up too much size, but he's been untested at heavyweight. I haven't really loved how he's looked at light heavyweight, and maybe that's why he moved up. Maybe the weight cut was getting tough. I'm not sure. We'll see him put on some pounds and take on a top-tier heavyweight in the world. I'm going to take Denis Goltsov for his experience, for how much he's proven. The winner's likely going to take on, assuming this all lines up the way it's supposed to, the winner will take on the winner of Vadim Nemkov and Francis Ngannou. That is the plan from everything that has been indicated. So, yeah, I think we'll see that by the end of the year. I think that's PFL's plan. And then, you know, early next year we can get the winner of this in there. And the heavyweight scene doesn't look that bad, if we're being honest. I mean, Corey Anderson's legit. Denis Goltsov's legit. Nemkov and Ngannou would be a cool fight. If we can set something up with all this, all these moving parts, I think we could have some interesting stories for the heavyweight division and for PFL. It all goes down July 19th in Cape Town, South Africa. PFL Champion Series 2025. Let me know what you guys think is going to happen, and make sure to like and subscribe. Thank you.